Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. It's Tuesday, October 19th, 2021. And we begin with a teenager halfway to her goal of flying around the world by herself. 19-year-old Zara Rutherford began her trip from Belgium in August and has plans to fly across 5 continents and 52 countries to break the Guinness World Record for youngest solo female pilot to navigate the globe. Both of Zara's parents are pilots, and she started flying at 14. For this adventure, she's flying in a small 2-seater called a microlight that has been outfitted with a lot of special safety features, including an extra gas tank to allow her to cover longer distances. At each of her stops, she visits schools and youth groups to inspire other young girls to explore aviation, science, and engineering. Right now, she's in Nome, Alaska, and is waiting for permission to fly over Russia for the next part of her journey. She's had a few delays, but her goal is to finish her trip so she can be home in time for Christmas. Flags are lowered and tributes are pouring in for a history-making 4-star general widely respected by Democrats and Republicans alike. Colin Powell passed away yesterday of complications from COVID. He was fully vaccinated, but wasn't able to fight the virus like most people because he was reportedly also battling cancer and Parkinson's disease. The retired war hero was the son of Jamaican immigrants who went on to become the U.S.'s first Black Secretary of State. The only blemish on an otherwise remarkable career was a 2003 speech to the UN supporting the invasion of Iraq. The data he used turned out to be wrong, leading him to later write, "It was one of my most momentous failures. The event will earn a prominent paragraph in my obituary." It has, but those who know him best have nothing but praise. Democratic President Biden said Mr. Powell was a patriot of unmatched honor and dignity, while former Republican President George W. Bush said he was such a favorite of presidents that he earned the Presidential Medal of Freedom twice. General Powell was 84. History was made on the hard court Sunday night. The Chicago Sky took down the Phoenix Mercury to claim the team's first ever WNBA championship. Not only that, the Sky was seeded 6th going into the tournament, making it the first team in the league to ever win when it wasn't seeded 1st or 2nd. Its 8 postseason wins are also the most in WNBA history. The final score of the championship game, Chicago 80, Phoenix 74. You may like your clothing to be a certain color, but you probably don't think too much about the process of coloring shirts, pants, or dresses. It turns out every year it takes trillions of liters of water plus a lot of hazardous chemicals for fabric dyeing, and that creates about 20% of the world's polluted wastewater. So fashion designer Ralph Lauren recently brought together 4 other companies to develop a better way to bring various hues to cotton clothing. The color-on-demand system uses 50% less water, 90% fewer processing chemicals, and 40% less energy than traditional methods without sacrificing quality. And even better, this month, all the involved companies have released a detailed open-source manual so their competitors can use the same system and help produce clothing that won't have such a negative impact on the environment. A turtle egg being cared for at the Birdseye Cape Wildlife Center in Barnstable, Massachusetts, gave workers a big surprise when it hatched. The turtle that came out had 2 heads and 6 legs. It also had 2 spines, and each head has its own system for eating and breathing. The twins, called Mary-Kate and Ashley, are healthy, growing, and can swim together underwater, coming up when one of them needs air. The center won't release the turtle since it's unlikely to survive in the wild. Instead, they'll raise the turtle and keep studying it to learn more. That's it for KidNuz. We want to say a big thank you to all our generous donors who help make this unique podcast of news just for kids going. If you'd like to make a donation that's tax-deductible through our fiscal sponsor, Independent Arts and Media, please go to our website, www.kidnuz.org. Now, the KidNuz quiz. Colin Powell was the first Black man to hold what office? U.S. Secretary of State. When does a 19-year-old pilot flying solo around the world hope to be finished with her trip? By Christmas. What are the names of the 2-headed turtle born in Massachusetts? Mary-Kate and Ashley. What team won the WNBA championship? The Chicago Sky. In our KidNuz kicker, a Texas couple trying to catch a flight to Las Vegas was told their checked luggage was too heavy. So they decided to open up the bag in the airport and move some items into their carry-on bags to avoid a fee. But much to their shock, inside the heavy suitcase was their dog. Their 5-pound Chihuahua named Icky had apparently burrowed into a cowboy boot just before the case was zipped up. The couple managed to get a family member to dash over to the airport to pick up their sneaky stowaway before they went on their vacation. Before we go, we want to give a big shout out to our terrific teachers and their students, starting with Mrs. Mackard, who is a KidNuz Teacher Advisory Panel member at Annunciation School in Stockton, California. Hello to Mrs. Grambois and Mr. Shankman students at Hazel Wolf in Seattle, Washington. Ms. McGill and her hardworking Willow Hill Hawks in Abington, Pennsylvania. Mrs. Martin Mackey at Our Lady of Peace in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And Ray in the Tiger Lily class at Wild Lilac in Portland, Oregon. Thanks for listening. We hope you tune in for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.